Reserve time.
Welcome to the TI3 group stages. This is Orange versus Invictus Gaming. I am quite excited about this matchup. Have wanted to cast some more Orange in this tournament, and I think IG is a really good litmus test for how Orange will do in the rest of the tournament. If they can handle IG, personally I don't think Orange could take it all the way, but they could end with a top finish. If they can't take IG down, then they may be relegated down to the losers bracket. I believe they are, at the moment, struggling for some wins right now. I gotta keep this window open.
Bounty hunter.
Yes, at the moment they are actually 5-3. Wow. Got that one wrong. It's IG. Actually, both IG and Orange are at 5-3. I didn't realize this. So they're evenly matched, and whichever way this goes, if one of them O2s it, then it's gonna put the other one possibly in the losers bracket, because right now there's a lot of tied teams in Group B.
10 seconds remaining.
So there's going to be two highly contested games,
5 seconds
not just
remaining.
because they have the Oranges always struggle to take down the top three Chinese teams, IG, DK, and
Reserve time.
Tong Fu. They've always been able to take games off of them, but oh, it's an Ursa. Oh man, I gotta get into the analyzing this draft soon.
Turn to ban.
It's gonna be a good match. Just leave it at that. Let's get into the draft, which is already quite interesting. Orange picks up an Ursa, which I know that in one other game this has been picked up. I don't know who it was. I want to say it was Zenith.
10 seconds remaining.
At this point, it's just there's so many picks. It's apparently there've been something like 85 different heroes picked so far, which is
Reserve time.
amazing. Like that's an incredible amount of diversity in one tournament. So continuing with that trend, we have ourselves an Ursa. The number of consistent picks has been increasing as the tournament goes on. Lots of Batrider, of course, lots of Weaver, and of course Lifestealer hasn't made any disappearances. Still highly valued. Chen, of course, Dragon Knight, tons of him everywhere, west and east, all over the place. IG pick up their Bounty Hunter. They're looking for some aggression, and the only concern I have for them is just getting into these fights. There's no natural Lifestealer bombs for them right now, and they probably are not going to acquire them with their last pick because they still need one more support. Chen alone cannot support this game. Nonetheless, if they can get rolling, if they can get some track kills and find some early farm, then they have a good chance. However, they're up against a Weaver. Highly mobile, pretty good against Lifestealer, which is part of the reason we're seeing a lot of Weaver. And Ursa is also pretty decent against Lifestealer, because if the fight gets extended in any way,
10 seconds remaining.
the Fury swipes now last for 15 seconds, and that
IG
means that Ursa
turn
can
to
focus
ban.
down Lifestealer pretty well. Dragon Knight, however, is a bit of a different story for
Oranges
Ursa
turn
because of
to
the Dragon Tail. Ursa is going to require a BKB to get much done against a Dragon Knight. And I'm curious to see what the specific strategy is for Orange with this Ursa pick. IG rounds it out with a Rubik. Could be a Chuan Rubik. Chuan plays a excellent Rubik, but so does Faith. I imagine it'll be Faith
10
on the Chen
seconds
and
remaining.
Chuan on Rubik, though. A pretty well-rounded lineup from
5
IG.
seconds remaining.
It's going to depend a lot on Bounty Hunter. I think he's the big factor here, that he needs to get a start. He needs to get his 6 as soon as possible and start producing track kills for his team, particularly by the time that Chen comes out of the jungle with level 5, level 6, and multiple creeps to start help pushing down towers. The anti-push from Orange is not particularly good right now, and that's something that I think they should work on at this last pick. I think they're still looking for their mid-hero. If I were to take a gander, I don't know what they would really want. They could go for... They need a Mushi hero, is what I'm seeing. OD has been banned out, of course. He's been first banned pretty much consistently in this second day. Nobody's letting him through. So That's not available. Storm Spirit's in the pool. Shadow Fiend, I don't think he would have a very fun time this game, particularly versus a Bounty Hunter. As soon as Bounty Hunter hits 6, he would just head straight towards mid, and Mushi would have a bad day.
10 seconds remaining.
Something with AoE, something with anti-push. A Windrunner is a potential viability. It's a Lina. Who is Mushi playing? This is what I want to know. I guess I should have seen that coming, given there's no second support on Orange, so they needed a support. But I don't know. It does help with the problem of anti-push. The Dragon Slave plus Light Striker Lay is a nice safe way of dealing some damage to the creeps and can punish overextension. Particularly good versus Bounty Hunter. The Laguna Blade, once Lina gets to 6, should be able to make use of that. And it's a Mushi Ursa. I've never seen Mushi play this hero, and I don't know. How is this going to work?
10 seconds remaining.
So if it's a KYXY Weaver, this makes me think that KYXY is headed mid with a tri-lane with Ursa and Ohio offlane?
Prepare for battle.
Huh. It's a YYF Bounty Hunter. This is the opposite. The last time I casted IG yesterday, they swapped. They had they had YYF on the Lifestealer and Joe on the Bounty Hunter. I think it still worked out. It's actually going to smoke up on Orange. An early smoke purchase. That's good. It's actually very costly to spend your money on that early on. But they could potentially find a kill. Oh, Chuan. Can Net get in range for a Nightmare? That's the question. 315 movement speed on Bane, but so does Lifestealer, so it's not going to be able to catch anybody. The smoke ends up being kind of wasted. So I don't know what the plan was for Orange here with the smoke. That's 100 gold that you're not
30 seconds
investing towards stats or regen for someone else on your team. Could be costly. Is this an aggressive tri-lane by Orange? That is the question. I don't think so. I've never seen Ursa in a tri-lane, so I don't know. It would seem very risky to me, and I mean, they could pull it off. They've got the Nightmare and the Light Strike Array. It's enough time for Mushi to get some Fury swipes up. It could work out. And they immediately deward this, which... So it's going to be Ohio in the mid lane and KYXY down at bottom. Very interesting matchups here. Well, in any case, I'll just let the lanes be as they are, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to have Ferrari on Dragon Knight versus Ohio on Batrider. Should favor the Batrider, but Dragon Knight will have an okay time. We'll get some farm. Bounty Hunter versus YOF and Bounty Hunter versus KYXY and Weaver. Could go either way. Will depend a lot on the skill build that YYF chooses. I believe he needs to level up multiple in Janata to successfully deal with KYXY. The reason you level up Janata in this circumstance is because if you want to have good harassment, then you need the lower cooldown that the extra levels in Janata provides. Either way, it should be pretty even. It's going to be a lot of back and forth, but there could be a solo kill in this lane. And there could be as well, depending on how aggressive Ohio gets in mid, there could be kills there as well. And of course, the try versus try situation. I guess it's more of a try versus 2.5 with Chuan in the jungle. So it's actually going to be a Faith Rubik, not a Chuan Rubik. But so it's Chuan in the jungle on Chen, Faith on Rubik, and Zhou on Lifestealer. Lifestealer is the best they could hope for in this try versus try circumstance. Part of the reason that Lifestealer is so highly valued. He's picked up level 1 Rage, does not want to die. And he's waiting on his level 2 to see what happens, whether he wants the Feast or the Open Wounds. So Mushi's going to be on Ursa. Oh, there's the Nightmare. Mushi. Oh no! A misclick from Extinct. Instead of the Light Striker Lay landing, he accidentally right-clicks Zhou and takes the Nightmare off, which allows Zhou to just get a little bit out of the Light Strike Array distance. It's not a huge cost. The mana cost for Light Strike Array is fairly low, and 350 mana on Lina. It's pretty nice. So they can keep trying, but unfortunate. They may. I'd be very curious to see if they had the damage necessary to take down Joe. I really don't know. There's a lot of it. And Chuan has picked up a Harpy Stormcaster. That's very nice for making... Oh, look at all this damage that's going on to Bane. There's just nothing he can do about it. It's so little mana. They're going to have to take it down. They don't have a choice. Otherwise, they will just get taken out. Oh, there's a lift back onto 2. Joe, he's going on to Extinct. He's popped the open wounds, the rage. There's nothing that they can do to stop him. And Joe picked up the first blood on Extinct. So unfortunate for Orange. They didn't have a choice though. It's really, this Harpy Stormcrafter is so good. It slows down Chuan's jungling quite a bit, but it's so powerful for this lane. I mean, look, he's still using it. He just wants to use up the entire mana pool. It's so long range, and it bounces. Can't forget that. But they were forced to deal with it, and because they had to focus on that, Joe knew that he could just walk in and go straight onto Extinct. Wow, Mushi. He's dropping so low. He's gonna have to go all the way back to base. There's no way that they can regen him up. Don't want to waste all their salves just bringing back up to full. The reign of terror from this Stormcrafter should be over pretty soon, but that's a lot of work that this one creep has managed to do. It slowed Chuan down a little bit, which is good news for the other solo lanes for Orange, but nevertheless. Take a look how these lanes are going elsewhere. KYXY, he's sitting at 19-7 versus 12-0 on YYF, so he's winning the lane, which I think is probably how it should be.
Dire's middle tower is
In fact, he's YYF is going for a 2-2-1 build, striking the balance between more Janata and having the Shuriken available for when he rotates to another lane. That's why you level the Shuriken. It's not for your presence in the lane, but when you rotate to another lane, helping secure those track kills. Over in mid, Ohio's he's pondering this stack here, and he's in fact just gonna take it. That's a lot of gold he just stole from Chuan. That's a lot of gold indeed, because Chuan picked up this Wild Ring Ripper and started stacking the camps, and Ohio just steals it. That's so big. Gets him his level 6 at 4 minutes and 45 seconds, and a lot of gold on top of that. So poor Chuan. Not only has he had to waste a lot of time with the Harpy Stormcrafter up at top. Oh, there's a lift onto net. He gets pulled back. The open wounds. The Light Strike Array. Defensive Nightmare will not save him for the time being. And in rotation for YYF. I didn't realize he was up here. He helps make something happen. I guess he gets scared out by KYXY because of how much harass he was taking. And another thing I want to note about YYF, he picked up a wand for that lane, which is a pretty smart idea against Weaver because of how much he spams Shikuchi. So YYF, it's not a track kill, but it's a kill, and it's going to slow Mushi down on Ursa. And Orange, they are looking a lot of for a lot of oomph from Mushi this game. KYXY is having a pretty good time at bottom, so he's not the only hope for Orange, but him having a poor start is going to slow Orange down as they get into the mid game, and this is definitely I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't even bother saying mid-game oriented lineup anymore, because that's the draft of 6.78. You have to be strong in the mid game. You can't hold off for the late game. And I think everybody realizes that. Mushi ends up abandoning the top lane, which I think that's the perfect time to do that. He never died there, but he wasn't getting enough farm. He's sitting on 24-6 versus 28-5 on shows. So he was doing pretty well, all things considered. But he knows that it's going to get harder and harder, especially with YYF rotating between the lanes. He's completely abandoned the bottom lane to KYXY, which I think could be a mistake. Now, YYF is here. Could attempt to go on Mushi. Faith is coming from the side, but he's going to get spotted out from the high ground by Extinct. In fact, this ward will get sentry'd, and that'll remove some vision for IG. Good D ward by Extinct. So with that, Orange will rotate back up to the top lane now that they see that Joe is positioning himself pretty aggressively here. But he's got his phase, so he's pretty fast. They can't catch up to him. Ohio, he should have a Blink Dagger relatively soon. He's at 1,200 gold, making a pretty good pace. Chuan, he's He's actually recovering decently given how slow his start was. Level 4, almost level 5 at 7 minutes. Not as fast as it could be, but all things considered, not so shabby. YYF, now that he's level 6, oh wow, look at all the damage he's taking. Oh, the shuriken! Not quite enough damage. YYF could continue to chase this, but KYXY has actually chosen to go for a bottle. Haven't seen if he's gone for any of the runes down at bottom. But that's one of the advantages of having a solo lane, a fast solo lane like Weaver especially. It can really help you contest the runes, which Batrider doesn't necessarily want to spend a lot of time doing. Ferrari actually manages to get the last hit on the tower. I'm kind of surprised there. Mushi could have gotten the deny. It's a little hard to estimate exactly how much damage the poison is doing to your tower, so that's probably why that happened, but nevertheless, it's a missed opportunity. Flame Break will push Ferrari a little bit towards Ohio, but not quite what Ohio wanted, so he will give up on that chase. Ohio should really just stop and farm up his Blink Dagger, since he's at 1500 gold. So the top two farmers for Orange are Ohio with KYXY, which is exactly what Orange wants. YYF can try to challenge KYXY, but he's gonna back off. It's really hard. Time lapse is only on a 60-second cooldown, and it doesn't actually cost mana to use, so at least once you use it, it returns you to your previous health and mana, so you don't actually spend mana to use it. You just have to have the mana available to
Dire's bottom tower is
use
under
it.
attack.
So he can remove track every 60 seconds, and the mana cost on track can be kind of frustrating to maintain for Bounty Hunter, especially when he wants to be using Shadow Walk, and he's also using Shuriken to harass, which is maybe not the best idea. I think if YYF wanted to stay in that lane, he had to level up the Janata more, and because he's roaming, or was roaming, the more points in Shuriken, less effective versus Weaver, but more effective for roaming. Be watching KYXY's build here pretty carefully. Want to see if he goes for Lincoln Sphere this game. I kind of hope not. There's so many ways to proc it. This could be the second tower going down in favor of IG, and the funny thing is they haven't even used Chuan to take down these towers. IG was expecting Orange to defend this, but Orange didn't even really bother. Ohio's 200 gold from his Blink Dagger. If he dies here, it'd be quite costly. Joe, he's diving quite deep onto this. This could be a mistake. Swarm comes out. Mushi, he actually finds YYF on the back lines and chases him off. So Joe tries to dive that, but not very effective. Net needs to go join his team. He really wanted to buy boots. You can see he has 500 gold. He's like sitting at the outpost. He's like, guys, I just want to buy boots. But they need his help if they want to defend this tower, and I don't think Orange should be giving up a tier 2 at this stage of the game. Ferrari's really making... He's using the poison of this dragon form to get a lot of tower damage done. And again, Chuan really hasn't been involved in much of this. He had the Wild Wind Ripper there for the tornado, but that's about it. He's level 6 now. Got the Hand of God available, and he's well on his way towards the mech. Catching up very nicely. Ohio's picked up his Blink Dagger. He'd love to find Ferrari, and so he does. He gets pulled back. There's no way for Ferrari to make it out of this. Hand of God gets used. Oh, the Dragon Tail, but nope. Dies in the midst of the Firefly from Ohio, and that's a great kill. Making use of that first Blink Dagger appearance. Ferrari just sticking around a little too long. When you're down in the river like that, you're very vulnerable, even if the mid-tier 1 isn't there. I think that's probably why he thought he was safe. Figured he would be able to see them coming, but no such luck. And there's a lot of damage from Mushi through the Fury Swipes. He's macking the Fury Swipes, taking note of his build here. He's got 1 point in the Earth Shock, which provides some slow. It's not much damage, but you don't have a lot of other things to spend your mana on, so you might as well get some. And he's got 2 points in the Overpower, which is your attack speed bonus, and then 3 in the Fury Swipes. Optimizing for the Fury Swipes, but still picking up everything else along the way. Extinct, he's looking towards his level 6, getting to 12 minutes. Ooh, yeah, with this stack, he should be able to at least get well on his way towards 6. The Laguna Blade will be very useful for his team. Smoke up on 4 here. There's an infest inside Ferrari. Is Orange aware? I can't answer texts when I'm doing this, by the way, so there's no point in texting me. Doesn't look like IG's going to find anything. They didn't have any wards up, and they don't appear to have any wards in their inventory. Faith has got 1. But that's about it. So a little bit of wasted time from IG. They do, force Orange out of the jungle. Orange they don't have any sentry up, but they are well aware of IG's lack of presence on the map and are happy just to back out. They're going to smoke up themselves. I don't know where they plan on going because they know that IG is all the way down here. But they're not going to get anything done with this smoke, so I don't know what the purpose of it is. They can work on the top tier 1, but I think IG would be happy to rotate. Level 7 on Chuan, so he can start stealing some creeps, or start building up his creep army. And continue this push, which it's going to be pretty hard for Orange to challenge, especially if they're not as a group.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Will IG continue this push? I guess not. Not sure what they're afraid of from Orange. They could probably continue it. The lasso is probably the big concern, and they've got the mech coming for Chuan, which they really you do kind of need to do a sustained push on the tier 2. Orange in a fight at Roche. I mean, they're clearly thinking about it. IG is, but it would be a risky fight because of the lasso, the blink-in from Ohio. Unless Ferrari has already popped Dragon Form and he's got the Dragon Tail ready to fire, or Faith is really fast in the telekinesis, which is always a possibility. I've seen a lot of games where Rubik has done a good job rocking the telekinesis to interrupt lasso. But it makes this a dangerous place for IG. It all depends on how quickly IG or Orange responds to this. Now they seem to be positioning as if they're aware, but they need everybody here to do it, and they may just end up giving it up. It's going to take IG a while to do, but they're thinking about it. They're thinking about it. Yep, there we go. IG, they're forced to back out, and there's the lasso straight onto Faith. This is the perfect target for Ohio to take down. Hand of God comes late from Chuan. There's a test of Faith on Ohio. The Dragon Tail onto Extinct. Mushi, he overpowers up, but oh, Extinct, he's so close to going down. Chuan wants to finish him off with his creeps. Will he be able to get him? No, it doesn't look like. He's just going to end up feeding his creeps here. And Extinct will walk out. So it's actually only 1 death on the side of IG. Orange stop the Roche for now. And they lose all of Chuan's creeps. That's probably the biggest cost in terms of IG's ability to finish Roche. He's going to have to go back into the jungle and get all of those back up and running. But it's very important for Orange to challenge whatever Roche attempt comes up. It'd also be pretty valuable for them if they could get a tower down. I mean, they got the bottom tier 1. But they need more than that. That's the freebie tower, basically. That's the one that's almost guaranteed to go down if you're not losing the game. Horribly, I should say. Well, it's 2-2, 16 minutes into the game. It's about 1,500 gold in favor of IG, 1,500 experience in favor of Orange, and oh, they're restarting the Roche now. Yeah, since it's already still at half HP, they don't need the full creep wave to do it. And they should be able to finish it off. Orange is not positioned to resolve this.
Roshan has fallen to the Dire. Dire's top tower is under attack.
Why? Checking my phone. Guess that was just a double text. Interesting. Up at top, KYXY manages to get a solo, get the tower. Ooh, nice blink in from Ohio. He gets the lasso onto Zhou. He doesn't have the infest anymore, but he's gonna go straight onto Extinct. Can he get the Laguna Blade off? No, he cannot. And I believe that was a track kill as well. Yes, it was. Ohio, he's gonna try to run away. He's got the blink up. He will be able to escape. So a support for a tower, it's decent for Orange. But not ideal, and they tried to get Zhou. It was close. It was close, but not enough. And he had the Aegis anyways, so I don't know that that really was going to be worth it regardless. If he'd gone on somebody else, though, I don't think YYF was visible at the time. These trades for Orange, that's another factor to consider. Trading a support for a tower kill is not nearly as desirable as it would be otherwise, because of that track. And it's really going to be... what IG's looking for. They're happy to continue trading for the rest of the game, as long as they're getting track kills. Armlet is up on Zhou, and he's got 1,300 gold past that. Phase drums, he's mobile, he's dealing his damage. Force Staff coming up on Ohio, it's not too far away. His farm is quite nice.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Faith, he's got his arcanes. Pretty important for him, so he can spam his Fade Bolt.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
KYXY does manage to get the mid tower in trade for the top tier 2. That's probably a decent trade for Orange. They're not losing much map control from the top tier 2, and they're getting a lot from the mid tier 1. Ultimate Orb up on KYXY. The question is this a Scythe of Vice, or is it a Lincoln Sphere? I would really hope it's the Scythe of Vice, because I think that would be a much stronger pick in this game. Lincoln Sphere is just going to get procced over and over again by Track, Janata, Dragon Tail, Open Wounds. So many ways that the Lincoln Sphere is not going to do anything for you. Does have great stats for Weaver. That's ultimately why people get the Lincoln Sphere on Weaver, but I think there are other ways to get those stats that provide more for you in the near term than a Lincoln Sphere does. Well, Mushi, I don't know where this Urza has come in so far. Mushi has really not had a lot of impact, and I don't know about the Shadow Blade and yeah. Oh, nice BKB by Mushi. He's gonna instantly turn around a YYF if he gets one more right click. One more. The send back from Chuan is gonna be enough. Oh, the Hand of God from Chuan just barely saves YYF's life. Now Mushi, his BKB has just ended, but a nice blink in from Ohio. He lasses up Ferrari. The full Fiend's Grip onto Zhou, but nice defensive Nightmare will save him for the time being. It's a 1-for-1 right now. I can't believe that Orange is managing to turn this around. Although KYXY, he gets netted up. Oh, no chance for the time lapse, and he will go down. Wow, that was that was the Sentry Ward. Brilliant Sentry Ward placement from Orange here. Are the only reasons that Orange didn't just completely flop there. Popping the BKB just before Ferrari walks in range and nearly wipes out YYF instantly. So the fortunate thing for IG in that fight was that they're trading, but there were no track kills because there was a send back from Chuan on YYF. Meant they didn't get the kill, but at least there's no track in that fight. There's a Sanj up on Zhou. Looks like he's headed for the Sanj and Yasha. We'll go for a Basher after that. Lots of stacks being done in the jungle here. I like this decision by Orange. It's a big comeback mechanism for them, and we'll make sure that their supports are actually getting farmed, because with Orange's lineup, I don't think they can just rely on Ursa and Weaver to do the work. And it is going to be a Lincoln Sphere. He's picked up the Perseverance, but he's pretty close to it at this point. I think a late Lincoln Sphere is a lot less valuable than an early Lincoln Sphere. So he should have that in about 1 minute. Which, 23 minutes, that's pretty good timing. Ohio, he's got his Force Staff, and he's picked up a gem to boot. So he's got his full kit, and it's really important to have that now that there's a Shadow Blade on Ferrari. He's picked up an Ogre Club as well, so it looks like he's headed towards his own BKB. BKB does not help against Fury Swipes, by the way. It does not remove that debuff or prevent it from being stacked on, I believe. I know it doesn't remove it. I don't think it prevents it from being stacked on. Oh, there's a Blinken onto Faith. Perfect target for them. Faith gets melted. No problem. That's going to force IG to back off. Or will it? Should. Oh, wow. That was close. Extinct very nearly giving up a kill there by TPing, and not an ideal location. BKB is coming up on YYF. That'll make him a lot more survivable and allow him to stay alive for the tracks. That's the utility he provides to this team. And the BKB will guarantee that he's able to keep doing that. Aegis will be reclaimed right about now, and I mean, orange is a little more. Oh, nice blink away from Ohio. Make sure that he doesn't go down, because one right click and he definitely would have died. Fiend's Grip is back up on net. Lots of tracks being placed by YYF. This is an important behavior for Bounty Hunter in any game. It has to be constantly tracking. It's the most important thing. Nice force staff away. We'll save Mushi, and oh, there's the Fiend's Grip onto YYF. He gets taken out immediately. Hand of God gets used a little bit late. Ohio gets stunned up on the lasso, so he's not pulling Zhou as far as he would like. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far in this fight. Now Net, he's pretty far back here, and so he will die. That's one track kill going the way of IG. I don't believe that Ohio was tracked up in that fight. So still, it's a positive fight for IG. They take the bottom tier 2, and they're going to get a lot of damage onto this bottom tier 3. I don't think they can break the base just yet, but still a fantastic fight for them. And Mushi, I mean, he's got a lot of burst damage. That's something I'm noticing, is that every time they find a target, Ursa can really just rip them apart. It's quite easy, especially because he's maxed the Empower. He can get Fury Swipes going quite fast, and YYF really didn't have a chance as soon as the Fiend's Grip happened. The problem for Orange is that they don't have lockdown outside of the lasso from Ohio, and one big save in that fight, Orange kept the gem, despite Ohio going down. So that's pretty important for them. If they'd lost the gem, that would have been much worse. But all their disablers are just very squishy, and that's one of the reasons that Dragon Knight is so popular right now. I mean, to have a stun on someone who is willing to just walk straight into the fight, that's why Tidehunter used to be so popular, and that's why Dragon Knight has reached the status that he is right now. And it's actually not a BKB on Ferrari. This is probably a Heaven's Halberd, which I'm always a fan of a pick that's not a BKB. I just assume. I see the Ogre Club, I assume. But I like the Halberd. It's really good versus KYXY, especially with the billion ways they have to proc the Lincoln Sphere. Disarming him is pretty deadly. And another thing that's important to keep in mind is that the duration for the disarm actually lasts longer versus ranged heroes, so it's going to be more effective versus Weaver than it would be versus, say, Mushi. It will be a little bit of a problem for Mushi, but he's got his BKB, so that's not such an issue. And then that's kind of another reason that I trend more and more towards favoring a BKB on Weaver. The Lincoln Sphere, it's not a solution for many of the things that can really cripple Weaver. But if you had a BKB, honestly, it's almost as much damage, almost as much health, and it's arguably more survivability. There's been some stacking going on here for the Ancients by IG, so we'll farm that up. At this point, the gold it's surprising that Orange is doing really well to have kept it this close in check. 3,000 gold in favor of IG. Experience is basically 0. So it's still a very close game, and I think Orange, though they may be a little bit on the back foot, I think they're still absolutely competitive in this game. It's just I feel like IG's ability to take fights is less conditional than Orange's. Orange really need a long duration Fiend's Grip as well as a lasso to succeed, because that's the only way that Mushi is going to get his damage off, and the only other source of damage they have besides that is basically Laguna Blade and KYXY. KYXY does have his Demon Edge, so his damage is getting a little bit better, but I really worry about the Heaven's Halberd in these fights. I think it's going to stop a lot of his damage. One thing I want to note about KYXY's Weaver build here, it's very common for Weaver players to skip the Swarm, but as you can see, he's using it there to farm the creeps. It doesn't stick around quite long enough. You have to use the Shikuchi and the Swarm to get the full wave, but it's a great tool for farming farming waves. And now Orange just smoked up his 5 here. They're aware that IG are interested in Roche. And here we go. The BKB is instantly popped by YYF. Mushi pops his BKB. He instantly goes on YYF. The mech is popped, however. There's the lasso onto Zhou. If they can take Zhou down, this is huge. There's a Dragon Tail onto Mushi. It's going to slow his damage down. And, oh, nice defensive Nightmare onto Mushi. We'll keep him alive for just a second longer. But still, 2 go down for IG. And, in fact, it looks to be a great fight for Orange. KYXY, it's a bit of a fake for Orange. They have Mushi charge in. He takes all the damage. And, meanwhile, KYXY does all the work on the other side of the fight, and it works out really well. It's a 1 for 3 buyback for Mushi, and now they can look towards Roche, and I don't think that IG can challenge this. They don't have buybacks, and certainly Zhou and Ferrari on their own cannot challenge this. So Orange, they take the Roche, they take a team fight, and they give up very little for it. They just give up Mushi. But again, I think that worked out really well, especially saving Mushi as long as they did. That defensive Nightmare worked out very nice for forcing IG to continue to focus on Mushi while KYXY could do his thing. Especially, there's a lack of sentries in this area, which I think is a big mistake by IG. It's possibly why they weren't able to handle KYXY, because I feel that they have the ability to handle both Mushi and KYXY. It does split up their damage quite a lot, but they've got to have the sentries wards up for it. Oh, Mushi, he could walk straight. Yeah, Mushi. It was nice knowing you, Mushi. Will they stick around? IG? Nope. They're just going to use up the Aegis and walk away. So it's a pretty good gank for them. They get rid of the Aegis. It's going to inhibit the aggression that Orange probably wanted to take on the back of that Roche kill. But at the end of the day, I mean, Orange is just happy to take the Roche and for IG to not have the Aegis. So, especially, it buys time for Mushi to get his next item up. I'm very curious to see what he's going to build. I honestly don't know. It could be a Blink. At this stage of the game, I don't know that it's all that useful. I think an S and Y could be quite strong. Give him that extra move speed and the attack speed to get Fury Swipes up. Assault Crest is an option. Heart is definitely an option. Butterfly. There's a lot of ways that he could go, and they're all effective, but they matter quite a lot which one he chooses. So he must choose wisely. KYXY, he's 2,300 gold, very close to, I'm imagining this is an MKB, especially with the Heaven's Halberd on Ferrari. He wants to deal with that evasion. Ohio, he's working towards his BKB, which he'll be pretty happy to pick up whenever he can. IG, they smoke up, ward up the jungle. Very important. It's always a sign of good supports, remembering that if you're going to smoke up, to carry wards with you. Make use of your time on the enemy side of the map. So IG, they'll just opt to push in on this tier 2. Ohio would love to find something, but I don't think. He's got to be very careful who he goes in on. Faith, he's tired of getting lassoed up in these fights and staying relatively far behind. Ohio, he finds YYF. This is the perfect target. And Mushi blows him up. The Hand of God gets used, but does not save him. KYXY comes into the middle of the fight. There's a nice Fiend's Grip onto Zhou, and Zhou is going to get murdered by Mushi. Finished off with a Laguna Blade from Lina. There was actually a Fiend's Grip stolen by Faith in this fight, but it's not going to matter. Can they chase down Ferrari? That's the question. The Shadow Blade will be ending in about 3 seconds here. He's going to juke south, but nope. He's stuck in the middle. He gets hit with a Light Strike Array, and it's a 4 for none in favor of Orange. Ohio, MVP that fight, finding YYF and pulling him away from where he could be stunned. Exactly what it needed to do, and taking out Bounty Hunter at the beginning of these fights is crucial.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Bounty Hunter provides so much for IG. Both Dragon Knight and Zhou depend on that movement speed to get in close in these fights, and the vision provided from Track is just so useful. So taking him out of the fight first is probably the best target he could possibly go for. Faith and Chuan, they're decent targets, but they're also, it's expending a lot. if he can get them, it's great, but YYF, of the three, is the highest value target. He can't go on Zhou or Ferrari. They're just too tanky, and it's kind of what IG wants. They can make use of... They can have a good chance of turning around, is really how I should put it. So great fight for Orange. There was a full duration Fiend's Grip in that fight, and there was finally a Laguna Blade. Lina didn't get picked off early in the fight, and that was just a fantastic engagement for Orange. They did it without the Aegis. So that's going to bring things back into their favor. They're up against the Bounty Hunter, and they have a gold advantage. Things are feeling good, and after that fight, they're now 10,000 experience ahead. That's what a team wipe will do for you. So another Ogre Club up on Ferrari. He decides he needs that BKB. Kind of starting to wonder, you know, what if the Heaven's Halberd were a BKB? He's not had a lot of opportunity to use that Heaven's Halberd in these fights. So I wonder, it's kind of a toss-up. Would the BKB actually be the difference maker here? Or is the Heaven's Halberd really, I mean, it provides a lot of effective HP, so... There's the Monkey King Bar and KYXY. And just a few hundred more gold for, yep, there's the BKB for Ohio. So lots of blank KBs on Orange. Sanj sitting up there on Mushi. This could be a Heaven's Halberd, or it could be a Sanjin Yasha. I really hope it's a Sanjin Yasha. I think it's a great pickup for Ursa. So the MKB really makes KYXY a big threat here. Chuan is sending his creeps in, perhaps trying to scare them off. Which does so successfully. That's kind of an interesting bit of psychology there. Infest inside of Ferrari right now. There's smoke up on 4. Looking to find something. They've got this ward here, so I don't know what they're expecting to find. I think they're maybe hoping to catch Orange by surprise, but Orange, they're defensively positioned here. Not stretching out too far. It's Ohio's job to be scouting out and looking for any opportune pickoffs. So it doesn't look like the smoke will amount to anything for IG. One thing I want to note here is that there is a haste rune bottled in Ferrari. Would be handy to have in the next fight, but it will probably not last that long. So a lot of time wasted for IG, not accomplishing anything. Meanwhile, Orange, they were mostly grouped up, so they weren't necessarily getting a lot more during that time. But they were at least farming a lane, which IG was not. Faith, looks like he gave up on the Blink Dagger. Picked up an urn. There's the Basher on Zhou. So he should be a little bit more effective versus KYXY if he can stay away from the disables, which is a big if, but in general, particularly in Orange in that fight, Zhou ended up going down second to last. Ferrari ended up going down the very last, but he was also at full HP, so he basically took no damage during the fight. And I don't think it's Orange's desire to try and focus down Zhou first, so that means that Zhou is going to have some time to hope for some RNGG with the bashes. Extinct, he has a Force Staff. That's actually quite a nice pickup for him in this game. Help him be a lot more survivable. YYF hasn't picked up anything since his Blink Dagger, and would like to note lack of a medallion on IG. I really think that... Oh, Ferrari, he's going to get lassoed up. He's going to get pulled back. The Light Strike Array, the Laguna Blade finished off. No chance for IG to turn this around. Now, there's a Telekinesis used by Faith, but KYXY is going to catch up to him. Shikuchi is actually stolen by Faith, but they've got vision here. Just one more right click and they should be able to take him down. But he's so fast. Oh, look at the damage. And the Geminate attack almost come off. Oh, Faith basically saves his team by stealing Shikuchi. That was a really good play from him. Stealing that Shikuchi just in time to make it out. And basically pulling Orange off of the rest of his team. So they only lose Ferrari for it and they waste a lot of Orange's time. They will get the mid tier too. So Orange isn't completely lost for their trouble here, but it's still a positive engagement for them. Ferrari getting picked off there, big deal, and Ohio doing a really good job on Batrider this game. This is Batrider at his finest. Some Fest on the YYF. We saw a lot of this from, I want to say it was IG versus Alliance. That's the game we saw it. IG continually found a lot of pickoffs versus Alliance with just the Bounty Hunter Lifestealer combo. And I actually did it with Dragon Knight as well. Very effective there. But I don't think he's going to be finding anything. It's mostly just a transport mechanism. Orange, their positioning has been really good so far. They have not been caught out really at all. And IG is not necessarily a team that can find pickoffs like that. Not super mobile. They don't have anything like a Storm Spirit, a Nature's Prophet. Tinker, no Blink Dagger Carriers, Puck, that sort of initiation, which makes IG a lot less mobile around this map, and I think it's part of why Orange is able to do what they're doing right now, which is feel safe coming up in a 1v1 or a 5v5. So it's about 6,000 gold in favor of Orange, 14,000 experience, big level advantage. As we stretch into 38 minutes, that experience advantage doesn't mean quite as much as it used to, but it's still pretty significant, and particularly for these supports. Getting levels on your supports is the really desirable thing. Ohio's not far from 16. Max level lasso. Oh, he's gonna find Joe! This could be big. Joe gets melted by Mushi. Holy shit. Faith, he steals the Shikuchi once more, but can he make it out a second time? Yeah, the Laguna Blade used, they really want this kill. He will go down, so it's two kills in favor of Orange. Perfectly done by Orange. That pulling Joe back. I had previously thought that maybe they wouldn't want to go on Joe, but in fact, Mushi, this Ursa pick is actually paying off. Now, previously I'd kind of thought, Ursa's a mid-game only sort of guy. Like if you're not getting kills and Roche kills before the 30-minute mark, then your Ursa pick isn't paying off. But Mushi is strongly demonstrating here that. Particularly with Batrider and with Bane, having long duration single target stuns like that, tons of time for Ursa to get in position for his Fury swipes and deal tons of damage. I mean, you just look at how fast Joe pops, and he's not a weak hero by any means. I mean, without armor, he's got 1900 health. With it, he's probably got around 2300 or so, and he's got plenty of armor. And Ferrari, same thing happened to him. He's got 1900 HP, plus he's got 25% evasion. And Mushi doesn't even have any kind of have an MKB or any such thing that ignores the evasion. So that's how quickly these heroes are dropping if Orange gets the combo that they want and continue to get it. Another lasso onto Joe, and he will go down. Ohio is the MVP here. Faith will go down once more. Same two heroes dropping for IG. Wow. Great play from Ohio, and IG just not properly accounting for the Batrider. They're just falling apart a little bit here in the face of this initiation, and they may lose their racks here. Look at the reaction time. Ferrari pops a dragon form. There's a cheese up on KYXY, by the way. That was the third Roche, so there's the Aegis on Mushi and cheese on Mushi, or cheese on KYXY. So basically how it should be. Ursa can make better use of the Aegis than Dragon Tail onto Mushi. I don't think that IG can take this fight. I think they're going to lose their racks. They use up the Fortify, although now with Joe coming back in 10 seconds, Orange decides to back off, especially with the big push up at top. I do think they probably could have stuck around and intentionally taken the racks, but they didn't want to risk it. They don't want to push their luck too much, especially with new items coming up. Extinct, he picks up a Blink Dagger, which is going to be really nice for him. I don't think there's going to be any more of Faith running away with Shikuchi on 2 HP. And will allow for another form of initiation for Orange in these fights. Butterfly now picked up on KYXY. There's no MKBs available for IG, so it's a lot of survivability that he's just acquired. And not to mention the damage. So he's looking really, really scary against IG right now. Looking forward to Mushi's next pickup. He's got 3,600 gold. I don't know what it'll be. I think perhaps a butterfly. I think that might be the best he could hope for. Would be very strong. MKB is an option for him. It's not. You don't really need it that much. So I'd probably say just get a heart or a butterfly. Increase your survivability, and you do get some damage from the heart because the enrage works off of that. You convert your health to damage 7%. So that ends up being, I don't know, you get 450 some odd health from heart. So it ends up being like plus 40-ish damage. Right? 7 times 4? 28. It's like 30 damage. That's decent. Not nothing. And it increases survivability a lot. Means you can really stand in the middle of these fights and just have a ball. And really, he doesn't need that much more damage as long as he's staying alive. He's getting more stacks of Fury Swipe, and more stacks of Fury Swipe is really the build. Well, Orange are grouped up at top, working away on this top tier 3. Seems like a little bit of indecision here from Orange. They can't really split push, but they definitely seem nervous about going into this next fight. They know that if they get team wiped and there's a lot of track kills, IG are suddenly completely back in this game. Track is the great equalizer. Now it's only level 2 track, so it's quite the comeback mechanism that it will be in the future. KYXY is just waiting for the Geminate attack over and over again. And that's how these racks will go down. One Weaver auto attack at a time. Wow. Ohio jumps pretty far in, and despite the delayed reaction, YYF still gets lassoed up. The Hand of God will... One more right click on YYF and he will go down. A full durations Fiend's Grip onto Ferrari. Or was it Joe? Who knows? Ohio force-staffs himself out, but he gets finished off with the Infest from Joe. Joe immediately buys back. It's a 3-for-1 so far in this fight. Orange should have time to finish off these racks despite the buybacks. One more right click and they will go down. KYXY and Mushi, they still have their Aegis and Cheese, but they may be trying to bait IG into a fight that they shouldn't take. There's a Dragon Tail up onto Mushi. The lift onto KYXY. He can probably chase down Faith, no problem. And in fact, Extinct finishes him off, no problem. Ferrari, he gets overpowered, is able to Shadow Blade away for the time being. So Orange actually succeeds in continuing their bait, which IG, they had to know. I mean, they didn't even take down the Aegis or the Cheese, but they had to know that that wasn't a fight that they could take. And they're considering teleporting in here, but I guess just canceling them immediately. More wasted gold, but IG, this is it. They have to do this. Instant lasso up onto Ferrari. He will go down to Mushi's constant right clicks, and if they take down Mushi, oh, wow, it's just before the Aegis expires. So in fact, Mushi does go down. A little bit of mistiming there, although Extinct blinks into the middle of them, ends up feeding a kill, but takes out YYF for it. Actually, Net picks up the last hit there. So Boots of Travel picked up on Mushi, and they've swapped the Cheese over. Will Mushi go down here? Can he pop the Cheese in time? Pop the Cheese! Pop the Cheese! There he goes! Perfect timing! Baits IG out even further. Zhou will go down. He has no more buyback. There's a lift from Faith onto Mushi, but Ferrari's really got to be careful here. And in fact, oh, the Light Strike already misses, but it might not matter. There's a send back from Chuan, but at this point, I don't know if it matters. Zhou is dead for another 50 seconds. YYF is dead for 20. Mushi can stick around and just kill these racks if he wants. I don't think they have to run away. So a great fight. A great fight for Orange. And IG, I think, just getting baited out multiple times. Orange demonstrating some good mind games. I think it's a little unfortunate that Mushi went down just after the Aegis expired. But one thing I really want to stress here is under every other tournament, you would see IG would have called GG because they're clearly like they are so far behind at this point. 20,000 gold, 25,000 experience. But because A, this is the international, and B, these prelim games matter so much, like a lot. If you don't place into the top half of these prelims, then you are a best of one away from being eliminated from the tournament, and nobody wants to be in a best of one. Anybody can win a best of one. Cheese strats await in best of one, where you just get completely... Oh, Net. Net ends up feeding himself a kill. Feeding himself up there. I don't even think there was a track on that, though. Track's not on cooldown by YYF, so that's missed gold for IG. They could have just waited. I think they were probably nervous that that was another trap from Orange that they just wanted to finish him immediately, but that's a lot of gold you're missing out on as a result. But yeah, because nobody wants to be in a best of one. Oh, there's the lasso onto YYF. He's gonna get chewed up. Mushi is just a meat grinder. I have to take back anything I ever said about Ursa not being a Mushi hero. Very high impact. Oh, Ferrari, you can't do this. There's no way. Even if you found them, you wouldn't be able to do this. He is reliant on his teammates. The only reason he's able to get his damage off is because of the stuns from Extinct, from Ohio, from Net, which they've been doing a really good job of finding those.
Dire's top barracks has fallen.
But he's showing up, his positioning in these fights is perfect. He's always getting the damage exactly where it's needed. IG are looking a little lost here. Zhou has spent several minutes now. Maybe a few minutes. Several implies more than 5. A few minutes. Infested inside Ferrari. Hoping that they can find a kill. Hoping beyond hope. But I don't think they're going to find anything, and I don't know who they would find. Can't take down Mushi. Oh, that's a heart on KYXY. He is tanky. He is impossible to kill. Outright. Roche is back up, so this will be the 4th Roche of this game. And Mushi could solo it pretty easy. Could have soloed it for most of the game, but very rare to have the opportunity to do that. With the Roche being taken, that's what can IG do? I propose absolutely nothing. 20,000 gold, 25,000 experience. Smoke up by Orange here. There's this sentry here, but good movement by, well, a little dancing back and forth here. The lasso is not used. The Lincoln's is popped by Dragon Tail from Ferrari. All of these Shikuchis. The one fortunate thing for IG is that they can, I mean, they're okay at pushing out because of Ferrari. That AoE really blows through creep waves pretty decently. IG's only hope here is to catch Orange off guard. And I just don't know who they're going to find. Orange aren't giving up any kills. And they're just going to group up bottom. And get ready to take on this last set of racks. It's a Shiva's potentially on Ohio. Got that plate mail, but everybody's saving for buyback at this point. It is a 51-minute game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Oh, there's another lasso from Ohio. He's got no way to stop him, but nice send back from Chuan. We'll guarantee that lasso isn't actually doing all that much work. But nevertheless, YYF will go down. I'm having trouble keeping track of where everybody is in this fight. Now they pull Mushi back, but he's still got this Aegis, so even if they take him down, but there's the Fiend's Grip onto Zhou. He's stuck in place. He will go down. Does he have a buyback? No. No, he doesn't. Oh, actually, he does. I keep underestimating the cost of buyback. Ferrari, he's trying to do what he can here, but he does not not have what it takes, and triple kill for KOXY. GG is called by IG. 29-13, 52 minutes into this game. Great game. That pretty back and forth, at least until about 40 minutes in. After there was one particular team fight where IG tried to push in a mid, and they just got. I mean, Ohio found the right lasso target, and it was YYF. He just kept getting YYF. It's like this light bulb turned on. He's like, oh, I just lassoed the bounty hunter. And suddenly everything goes great for them, because the whole advantage of bounty hunter is the track gold. And so even if you trade in this fight, it doesn't matter. But then at that point, Orange actually team wiped them, so there were no trades available. Just really good positioning from the supports on Orange, I think, are what won this game. They found the full duration Fiend's Grips. They got some good light strike arrays, constant lassos from Ohio. Ohio MVP, for sure. And KYXY, he got tons of farm, and the MKB immediately after the Heaven's Halberd really helped his DPS out quite a bit. And Mushi, he really didn't have to do much. He got his BKB and Vlad's, and by that time, he had everything he needed. Didn't really need anything else to make his lineup, his picks, or his hero work. In any case, Game 2 coming up soon. Don't go anywhere.